You're listening to the Travis Makes Money podcast presented by GoHighLevel.com. For a free 30-day trial of the best all-in-one digital marketing software tool on the planet, just go to GoHighLevel.com/Travis. What's going on, money makers? Welcome back to the Travis Makes Money podcast, where it's our mission to help you make more money. Today on the show, we are talking about building a multi-million-dollar business with my new friend, Yousef Benhamida. Yousef is an American inventor, entrepreneur, and investor, best known as the founder and CEO of Humboldt's Secret Supplies. With no degree or investors, he built a multi-million-dollar company from his apartment. After losing everything, Yousef rebuilt himself through disciplined mindset and masculine self-leadership. Now he helps men overcome challenges like breakups, burnouts, and self-doubt with a no BS system for growth in fitness, life, and business. His book, $1 Million, Hot Girls in a Ferrari, shares raw truths about success and attraction. So Yousef will be coming on the show shortly, and I'm super stoked to have him on and chat through how he built Humboldt's Secret Supplies. But before we jump into that, if you're an entrepreneur or solopreneur using multiple softwares for marketing, email automation, et cetera, you're probably doing it wrong. You owe it to yourself to go check out High Level's all-in-one platform for marketing and automation so that you can get back to focusing on what you know how to do best. They've created an amazing tool that's somehow as simple as it is capable. So join over 3 million other businesses and go to GoHighLevel.com/Travis for a free 30-day trial to see what High Level can do for you. Yousef, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Hey, let's start with a simple question here right off the bat. How did you make your first dollar ever?
I stole it from my brother when I was really young. I took some quarters from his piggy bank,
Nice.
so I wanted to buy something. Yeah. So, but I had to return it, so I learned you can't steal.
All right. What about as an entrepreneur?
Entrepreneur. So, I heard this somebody say, "Oh, what's an entrepreneur?" the other day. Somebody who's looking up at the ceiling, trying to figure out things late at night and can't sleep. That's one of the signs. So, I'd say I would, typically it started earlier for me, like middle school. You taking things to school, trying to buy and sell them. I was on eBay in '99, buying and reselling things.
Yeah.
Learning the whole thing in 1999 when I was 12. So I think that's like the small beginnings of entrepreneurship while you're still under the umbrella of your parents. You don't really have to worry about
Yeah.
food and shelter. Then, dropping out of college, then when you're on your own, fully when you're on your own, I think that's when the entrepreneurship really starts.
Hmm.
You're trying to figure out how to make some magical life of yours,
Yeah.
So
Did you ever see those they were like penny bidding, like penny auction bidding sites? Do you remember
I
those?
remember that. Yeah, very it looks very. I remember I saw. Yeah, I think there was like they're very scammy. Like you had to pay like some hidden fees, right, to
Yeah,
get some
well,
stuff. Yeah.
I just remember selling stuff on eBay because I would win them on auctions on these like penny sites. So I'd get like a pair of like Beats headphones for $4.50 or something like that, and then sell them for $100 on eBay. But the problem was that you could only bid a penny at a time, and anybody could bid at any time, and so you have to buy packages of bids, basically.
I remember I was about to say you had to buy bids. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
So it
remember
ended up,
that. Yeah.
yeah, it could end up costing you more than the product would have cost you if you just bought it retail. But sometimes you would get like really, really good. Like I said, like, there's a few times where I would get these because I would go for the earbuds because there was less competition on those ones rather than like the big over ear headphones, and then get them for like $12, sell them for 100 on eBay. But yeah, starting, it seems like most entrepreneurs just have something innate inside of them. Do you feel like that was how it was for you, or did you feel like
Yeah.
you learned it from someone?
I mean, my mom, my parents would clip coupons. I always wanted things. I couldn't get things that other kids could get because there
Mm,
were four brothers. Only, we were sort of not like the richest family. We weren't poor. Four brothers, four mouths to feed. So I always wanted things, and I couldn't get them. My mom wouldn't buy them, and so
yeah.
I guess there was a very long desire to get more money and do whatever it took.
Did any of your brothers go in the entrepreneurship path as well then?
Yeah, to a certain extent, and they
Okay.
all graduated from college for the most part. They haven't really like started their own business with like employees,
Got it. So they were more
like they don't have pay.
entrepreneurial, but you were like I'm gonna like figure out how to do this business thing.
Go completely on my own,
Yeah.
completely make my own brand, not be under the umbrella of anybody else.
So what
That's you kind of
yeah, talk to me about the early stages of business for you. I know you've now built this multi-million dollar business, but it doesn't start
yeah,
that way, right? Especially if you're not taking
no.
outside funding, you're bootstrapping the whole thing, you're doing everything yourself at the beginning, like you
Yeah.
were. Talk to me about those early stages.
So I kind of stumbled into it just from doing immense amount of work for years and years and years. So I didn't know I was going to be doing what I was doing. I really just stumbled on it
Mm,
by going after money, you know. Like I dropped out of early stages. So I dropped out of school to grow. I was growing for years. I put my 10,000 hours and I was living with plants, right? So then I learned so much from that when I was done doing that, when that kind of played its course, something else kind of unfolded. Like, thoughts came up for new inventions or new creations, and then all of a sudden, boom. And it was brutal. I mean, it was brutal. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I was poor and I've dealt with terrible people. I dealt with good people, but a lot of terrible people. And you know,
Yeah, that's kind of like the negative promise of entrepreneurship is like the what do
yeah,
they say? The struggle is guaranteed, but the success is not. So you can, be
yeah,
banging your head against the wall for 7 years trying to figure this thing out. You're poorer than your friends who just have jobs, and you're working twice as much as they are. It can get really taxing really quickly. What do you think? What do you think kept you in it? Like, why not go get a job? Why not just take the other path?
Ah, that's actually a really so there are points where I was like, oh, I'm out, like I'm done, like I'm finished.
Yeah, I'm bet.
Like I don't know, I've had a lot of points. But the funny thing is that like there was nothing else I was gonna do. Like I always had a backup, maybe I'll go teach tennis because I can play tennis. I'm okay tennis player. But I was like, I'm done. So I literally didn't do anything. I just like sulked in like pain because I
Mm,
didn't know what to do. There's
yeah,
nothing for me to do. I was like, this is all I know. And then all of a sudden, some crazy stuff happened, and then boop, it's like a stock skyrocketing. It's like, oh
yeah.
wow! And so I've had that happen to where like I know when things are so bad, I'm like, yeah, I've actually been through worse. So you develop like it's like Warren Buffett says with the stock, you develop a stomach, you
Yeah.
know. So and I think that's actually the majority of it.
Mm,
You develop this
resilience.
pain tolerance,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then time just unfolds, and the longer it just unfolds. The money, if you're doing the right things, it'll typically come if you get smarter.
I'm sure a lot of people have said this, but I think Mark Zuckerberg gets credit for the quote, which is basically anymore, the greatest risk in life is not taking any risk at all. And the sooner that you can get comfortable in that unknown,
Yeah,
uncomfortable position, the sooner that you're going to find yourself in a position of winning, because most people can't stomach that that phase of uncertainty.
yeah,
We crave certainty.
yeah. During those, I'm like, I'm telling myself, there's like the thing that gets me through it is I'm like, this is the kind of pain that you have to deal with in order to beat out everybody else,
Yeah.
sort of, or to like kind of, be able to keep going. And I'm like, okay, like there's no way most people would be able to do what I'm doing sometimes,
Right.
just based upon the pain and the uncertainty.
One of the
So yeah,
books that I recommend almost every entrepreneur should read is The Hard Thing About Hard Things, by Ben Horowitz, who's the co-founder of Andreessen Horowitz, which is one of the most notoriously successful venture capital firms of all time. And in that book, I actually like gave a couple of I mean, not assignments, but like I had my wife read a few passages of that book, because like at the time I was so stressed, I was so anxious, I was going through the entrepreneurial struggle, and she kept asking me what was wrong. I was like, I don't really know how to articulate what's wrong. It's just like I'm a shell of myself at this point. And reading that book made me realize it was just like, I am not unique to this. This is not just
yeah,
something that I am only experiencing, that, because you start buying into the stories, you start buying into the lies of like, well, maybe I'm just not suited for this game. Maybe there's just who I am. I can't do
Yeah,
this
yeah,
thing. And
yeah,
then you read this
yeah,
book and go like, oh, okay, yeah,
yeah,
this is like what
yeah.
happens. This, you better get a stomach for it sooner rather than later. Tell me if you were going to explain Humboldt's secret supplies to somebody, what would be kind of your value prop, your mission?
Yeah. Got it. So obviously, it's developed over the years. So basically, I can create products. I can create winning products for companies in the ag space in a couple different categories on a world level, and I've gotten so good at it from not only making my own, and I've made multiple across like different genres of ag.
Okay.
Now I can make that. I've made them for some of the largest companies in the world. And so now I can kind of create things for them. So
Okay.
rather than make my own products, you make a product, you sell it, it has a name, blah 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 blah, and you're trying to make a ton of money yourself. Well, you can make bulk items of that and then just make a little bit of it and let the other company do the marketing and stuff. You don't have to make like a ton of money on a product. You just have to pump out volume at a world scale. So then it
Mm,
becomes more about like efficiency, operations, manufacturing, being able to make
yeah.
tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of units per day. You're not making as much as but you can make them for other companies that are doing. So that's what I'm kind of doing now. And when I've been around so long, people kind of figure you out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't have to quite sell as much
So it's
now.
kind of value creation through IP for existing businesses.
I can look at a company and tell them what to do to make more money. Like I can tell them what product to make. I can come up with the formulas. I can do a
Got
lot
it.
of that stuff. So it's like they kind of figure it out.
Why
And
agriculture? Why was that the space you went into?
because that's all I know. I dropped out of school to grow. I spent 10,000 hours in plants. I learned all about nutrients. I
Mm.
lived with plants. Like I literally 10 hours a day for years. I was dealing with plants and nutrients, and I'm good at math. So I figured out, you know, a lot of stuff about that. So
Got it. Got
that's
it.
that's what there's like that's what I'm the expert at. So
Tell me a little bit about your like kind of relationship building philosophy. It seems like this would be a really kind of relationship intensive business. If you're not marketing the
relationship,
product, you got to have a relationship with somebody to purchase
yeah,
orders from you, right?
yeah, yeah. So it's interesting you say that. Yeah, I mean, you get inbound leads. You can get inbound leads through your website and whatnot, but some people you can't call. They find you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I learned that trade shows are where the big players play. When I was talking with a bunch of people,
Okay.
basically the richest people I know, the most, billionaires and people over $100 million, and I've heard just from time and time again, it was like trade shows. Well, I didn't really want to spend money on trade shows because they're so expensive, right? The
Yeah.
traveling, all that. They're big spenders, but guess what? It's because there's big players at the trade show. If you can get there and you can look good, you can meet them, boom, life can change. So
Yeah. Yeah. So would you
yeah,
put if you had to choose, and it's always a combination, we all understand that, but if you had to choose between who you know and what you know, and which one of them contributes greater to your success, which of them would you
yeah.
choose?
Well, I've met people and then I didn't know that much, and then I took the info and then I learned it after. So you can, I mean, you got to have both.
Sure.
There you can't be like a you can meet some people, but if you don't know how to benefit them, it's kind of a waste. So
Yeah, you don't have any
you got to
competency, it doesn't matter.
it's both. I mean, realistically, like it helps. I mean, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to know everything, but you got to know the confidence that you can know everything and not mislead the big people. Because if you break the trust,
Yeah.
boom, you're out. And back in the day, I might have, yeah. I mean, I made some mistakes,
Sure.
lost some people, but you got to be on point, like to a T, perfection.
Well, and you mentioned something really important there, which is like you can't mislead the big people, but you like, not to use the trite expression, but real recognizes real. Yeah, you might be able to, and I've going off the topic of your book there, $1 million, hot girls in a Ferrari. It's like you might be able to convince some 22-year-old on the internet that you know what you're talking about because you take a picture of yourself in a Ferrari, but some dude that's worth $500 million doesn't give two shits about that. They want to know your competence in the area that they're going to work with you in. And the Ferrari doesn't convince them that you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you have
Well,
to know what you're doing.
yeah, I'll tell you a funny story about Ferraris, just so everybody out there knows. So, I had a Ferrari. I didn't have like the best Ferrari, and I got rid of it eventually. And then I was going to get another one, a better one. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. Well, I was at the Ferrari dealership shopping like the new Ferraris, and I literally asked him how much, all the Ferrari people, because the income of all the people who buy Ferraris, and he said they just enough to make the minimum payment. So basically, most of the people out there driving Ferraris. Uh, can
Are
barely
struggling
afford
to
them.
make the payment on the Ferrari. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
it's an illusion mostly.
Yeah. Well, the biggest study on millionaires ever found that the most popular car among millionaires was, I think, the Lexus. A Lexus was the most popular car among millionaires because it's a luxury Toyota,
Yeah,
and Toyota was like, or no, excuse me, sorry. Toyota was number one. Lexus was like number three. It was like Toyota,
yeah,
Honda, Lexus, Nissan. It was like zero luxury car, almost zero luxury car brands. The only luxury car brand on the list was Lexus, and it's just because that they're a nicer version of a Toyota, and like they're buying a car for driving. They're not buying a car for increased status, which is the difference, I think, a lot of times. Where are you going with this now with Humboldt Secret Supplies? Is this something that you
yeah,
just want to keep burning and turning? Like you want to just keep coming up with products? Do you want to have an exit at some point? Do you
yeah,
want to do something different?
yeah. So, yeah, I don't have an exit right now because it's kind of fun. I mean, when you're building something and I have a lot of control and I'm the
Yeah,
creator, I'm starting to get a little bit more respect worldwide. It's a nice feeling, right? Um, and so it's kind of fun to kind of keep poofing out winning projects.
sure. Yeah,
So maybe when I get bored, but I'm kind of far away from it. I'd like to grow it, to like nine figures plus.
yeah.
I'm not at nine figures. Um, so that would be kind of where I'd like to go. And I keep meeting bigger people. The thing is I keep doing bigger and bigger things.
Yeah. Well, that's the cool.
Then it's like, whoa, okay.
Well, you kind of nailed it, man. It's like if you enjoy it, why stop doing it? Like realistically, what are you going to do? Like if you sold it all tomorrow, but you enjoy doing it, like what are you going to do the day after you sell? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the whole purpose of life is to do something that you enjoy for a long period of time. It's just that most people aren't lucky enough to be doing the thing that they enjoy that actually makes them good money. So if you're doing something, it makes good money and you enjoy doing it, then there's not really a reason to stop doing it
Yeah.
until, like you said, until you get bored of it, because maybe that day will come.
Yeah. Um, I will say that I live in a constant state of like not having a ton of money because I'm always taking it and buying stuff and investing and
Sure.
using it. So I just want to let everybody know that you should have tons of extra money. Typically, you probably want to put it to use. I will just say I feel like I'm always broke, to be honest.
Yeah, right. Right. Well, I mean, that's how the wealthy people do it though.
Yeah,
Like they make a lot of money and then they live like they're broke for a really long time. And then they keep investing the money into new projects, into new things, into other investment opportunities. And then one day they look at the scoreboard and they're like, oh, I guess I'm not broke anymore. You know what I mean? But most people like, I just to me it's like the equivalent of having like a box of Krispy Kreme donuts on my countertop. It's like if I have a box of Krispy Kreme donuts, I'm gonna eat like three of them a day. Like that's why I don't buy Krispy Kreme donuts and keep them in my house. And it's kind of the same thing with money. It's like if you're making good
yeah,
money and you're just keeping it in your bank account, you get this false sense of security that makes you hustle less. So, as soon as like what we've always done is just whenever we save up a certain amount of money, we write a check and
yeah,
we get it out of our account, whether it's back into my business, whether it's into a real estate investment, whether it's into something else. It's like I want that money out of my account because when I look at my account, I want to feel the feeling of like I'm broke. I got to go work and make money. And if you're
yeah,
if you're not constantly broke, then you lose that hunger a little bit. Um,
yeah.
I'm curious, since this is the make Travis Makes Money podcast. A lot of people listening to this are just trying to get their foot in the door and figure out, maybe they're stuck at a $60,000 a year salary or something, maybe $70,000 a year. And maybe
Mm.
a decade ago, that would have been totally fine to
Yeah.
raise a
Hmm.
family of you have a spouse and a kid or two, and that might have done the job. And now it's not really doing the job anymore. They're getting disillusioned. They want to make more money. How would you recommend somebody start today? Like, what are some of the things
Yeah.
that you maybe are looking at and that you would keep an eye on that you're like, if
Yeah.
I weren't doing this, I might be doing this other thing?
Yeah. Well, I tell a lot. Let's see what I would do today. Well, I'll just say what I did personally to get out of, let's say, making sixty grand a year. So you have to, okay, so there are people out there that can raise money and, build this whole system. I never really raised money. I don't really know a whole lot about that. What I did was you work your normal job, and then after you get off doing that, then you work on your your exit strategy,
Plan.
and
Yeah, sure.
you take all your money, you save it, and you put it towards your new vision of whatever it is, starting your own business. I mean, realistically, like, the only way to take control is you got to start your own thing, really.
Yeah.
Then you have people working under you, and for every person working under, let's say you pay them $1, you're going to make $2, rather than you being the person that's getting paid that $1. And then you can hire, let's say you hire 50 people, and maybe you make twice their salary down the line. So
Yeah.
you gotta put in, a lot of hours at first, unless you have the money, because the money is the energy uh, to buy your time. But if you don't have the time, or you don't have the money, you got to put in the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to take
So,
one or the
uh,
other, or in most cases, both.
yeah, like I sold stuff on Craigslist. Like I bought and sold stuff. Like, let's say I bought and flipped cars. I bought and flipped whatever I could do to make money.
Yeah.
And then I would take that and I'd put it towards, like, building my own brand.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I would wake up 8 a.m. to midnight. And so I didn't get tired. I'll just tell everybody that I was taking a lot of Provigil. I was taking a lot of modafinil, the wakefulness drug. So I didn't get tired all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously that was a side effect, but that's what I did in the beginning. I probably,
Hey,
so,
sometimes you got to hack it, bro.
uh,
I'm sitting over here
yeah,
with nicotine and
yeah,
caffeine while I do like 8 podcasts today. So, sometimes you need a little bit of help. You know what I mean?
yeah. Some people do coffee or whatever, but, if you don't get, yeah, obviously it probably wasn't good for my health, but
Oh man, this has been cool, Yousef. I appreciate you coming on the show. Let's move into the last segment here. Some like to call the random round. Just quick random questions, quick random answers. You ready?
sure.
What profession other than your own do you think that it would have been fun to master?
Uh, Tennis. I mean, I played tennis, like, for a hobby. Yeah, it would have been fun, but you can only do it when you're young. It's like a kind of a young life cycle.
If you could,
So
if you could sit
tennis
on
would
a,
have been
what would have been the thing? Yeah, yeah, for sure. If you could sit on a park bench with someone, past or present, and chat for an hour, who would it be?
for an hour.
Yep,
I guess it'd be my dad, because I guess he died. He died young when I was a kid. So I mean, if I really could have, like, 1 hour,
that's a really
so.
great answer. How do you like to consume information best? Books, audiobooks, blogs, podcasts, YouTube?
Audiobooks, because then you're not confined to an area. You can go and jog. You can go about your day. You can multitask. You can download the info while you do stuff.
What is your go-to pump-up song?
That All the Above song is pretty good, but it changes. All the Above is pretty good. You know what I mean? Or do you know that one by T-Pain?
I don't think I've heard that one. No, I'll have to check it out. What we like
Yeah.
doing is like after like 50 or 100 episodes or so, we take the suggestions from all of our past guests and put it into like a Spotify playlist and send it out to our email list. So I'll have to look it up, add it to the playlist, and check it out. What's something that you're not very good at?
Uh, I mean, a lot of stuff.
Too many things to
A
name. Yeah, yeah,
lot of stuff. I think I'm going to go play some golf. I'm not super good at golf, but a lot
yeah.
of
Well,
stuff. I'm not
me
good
and
at a
you
ton of
share that
stuff.
one in common. Yeah. As we get everything wrapped up here, Yousef, where can people go to get more from you?
Go for just get my book. You can
Perfect.
download 35 years of information. yeah, in a few hours.
So go
If
get,
you're, yeah.
if you're listening right now, go get a copy of Yousef's book, $1 Million Hot Girls in a Ferrari, to learn all of the things that he's learned over the last 35 years of doing this thing. So, Yousef, I appreciate you coming on the show, sharing a little bit with the audience. Everybody else listening, remember, money only solves your money problems, but it's easier to solve the rest of your problems if you got some money in the bank. So let's solve that problem first here on the Travis Makes Money podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you guys next
I
time.